Our regularly scheduled CRA meeting is called to order. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Board Member Galvin,
Here.
Board Member Keys, Board Member Desome,
Here.
Board Member Bien-Aimé,
Here.
Chairman Joseph.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll stand up, please, for Pledge of Allegiance. Major, if you don't mind, you're going to, Assistant Chief, I'm sorry.
Good afternoon. If you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, let's move with the approval of the last minutes of October 10th, 2017. We need a motion.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Desome to approve the minutes for October 10th. That motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0.
Good. Agenda item number 1.
Good evening, Rasha Camo, CRA Director. Agenda item number 1 before you is the resolution to approve the North Miami Chinatown Cultural Arts.
Can we have the clerk read it to the records and then you'll go over it?
Sure, okay.
A resolution of the Chair and Board Member of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the conceptual master plan for the proposed Northwest 7th Avenue Chinatown Cultural Arts and Innovation District and providing an effective date.
Through the chair, this item, as you recall, was we started it at our last CRA meeting. We had your full public comment and presentation of the master plan, and I guess procedurally it actually is back to the body, to the council or the board rather, for your consideration. Consultants are here to answer any questions you might have, but just wanted to give it back to the council. Thank you.
Okay, so any other, you want to add anything else? So I guess we'll open it to the public for now. And so no public hearing is needed?
As I recall at the last meeting, we ended because of time constraints. So if there are any folks, I don't think we closed the public hearing at that point in time. I think there were still people maybe who wanted to speak. So if there are any folks who want to speak, I would certainly give them the opportunity tonight.
Anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this item of the master plan for the Chinatown? I see no one coming to the mic, so public hearing is closed. Members of the dais.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move approval.
Second. I was going to say something before, but that's fine.
If you'd like me to withdraw, I'll withdraw, and then you can make the
Yes,
motion.
yes, sir.
I'll withdraw my motion right now.
Thank you, Councilman, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to commend the staff and the Rasha and the city manager for an amazing job. We took this initiative to our homeowners with over 100 residents. Last week, everybody was so pleased. We had a business corridor meeting. I thank everyone for folks who lives in this area and Councilman Gavin, who actually born here, right? Born around here. It's an exciting time, and the manager always remind me when I say 20-something years I lived there. It's all a dream, and I think the last 2 years of going back and forth with the residents is really to show a vision, and I think the real work starts now just to get the vision. And again, this is just a conceptual plan, not necessarily that's how it's going to look, that's how we would like for it to look. The residents certainly made it very clear they want to see it to look that way, and I think we're going to do our best to make sure we have a 7th Avenue corridor that's going to be improved, lively, and bring the city up to par. And I'm excited to be part of that, and I asked my colleague, and I thank them for the vision, because I remember when we started this 2 years ago, I remember one thing, Councilman Galvin said, this is a crazy idea, but it's a good idea. And I kept that, and it's bold. It's crazy, it's bold, and the residents, we had to educate them about it, about the whole process, and it's been a journey, and I think I didn't understand the conceptual process, the conceptual plan, but after several meetings, and I kind of got the plan, and to see what's going to transform of this area, I think it's going to make everybody who's in this city very proud to be part of the city. Thank you.
Question. I just want to clarify that this is a plan that the city is going to go forward with to improve Northwest 7th Avenue, street improvements. It's a beautiful plan. Thank you to our consultants. Right now, just so it's understood that we are not really going out and spending any kind of monies to make this, turn this into a Chinese motif property. What we're doing, what I'm voting on right now is a generic enhancement of Northwest 7th Avenue that is going to help our businesses. It's a beautiful plan. It can be Chinese, or if for some reason that does not develop, we still have an enhanced project. And it's something I believe that is part of the CRA requirements with our extension, that we are required to spend this money as part of our enhancement. So it's, for those of you who think all of a sudden we're spending millions on having this Chinese traditional motif all over Northwest 7th, that is really not the intention. It's just a really beautiful enhancement in Northwest 7th Avenue to be forward, to bring in investors who have the ability to do the Chinese motif if they're looking forward to that.
So well said. So well said. Thank you, Councilwoman. I missed that part. Thank you.
Anybody, did you have anything to add? Mr. Councilman, bien-aimé?
No.
No?
No.
Well, the only point I want to make is that, well, I want to kind of echo Councilwoman a little bit, because after all, we voted to give the manager, the then manager, I think Alim Ghani was the one, or you? It doesn't really matter. So to give the okay to staff to go and, hire a consulting firm to come with the design and so forth. And I believe this is a design that cost us, what, $75,000? What? Okay. And we okayed that on the dais, 175? Yes, we did. These guys don't come cheap. Yeah, next time we have to go shop around. We did shop around? Yes. Okay. So it's something that we paid for. It came to us unless we have some ideas, we want to add some of our opinion. It's the final product, and if we think it is indeed the final product, so be it. But the other point that I want to add is kind of a problem that I had with the process of executing this, because usually here, at least for the 3 years that I've been here, when we have a major project and we have a committee that's going to be meeting and over the project, and we on the dais, we have the opportunity, each member, to choose 1 or 2 members. I did not have that opportunity here. So I don't know how this committee was chosen. I've never met any of them, whether they're all women, all men, all black, all white, all Chinese, all Hispanics, I don't know. I think, by respect, it should be done that if we have a committee who's acting on our behalf to present us a final product, we should not only have a say in it, at least get to know the people. Is the committee even here? No?
No, they're not here.
It's a major project. So the selection of a committee should not lie on one person or one specific group of people to choose that committee. I mean, I don't know who they were made of. Were they architects, urban developers? Who are they? Engineers? Can I at least have the names? Do we have a list of their names? And qualifications?
So just very quickly, the members that were on the committee, and they're there, were business owners, and residents in the area. You had Sherry Colas Gervais from the Beacon Council.
You got a copy?
Yeah. Well, we gave, it's in the books that we handed out. We didn't do, we only had the one copy that we gave you. Carol Geimer, Dr. Shanji Lee from Datang America, Stephen Mull, Vice Provost, Florida International University, Jeff Mondesir, business owner on 7th Avenue, and obviously our staff, Rasha and Tanya, Sejor Wilson, were the committee members.
But who chose them? How were the people approached?
Well, they were chosen based on, well, obviously the university, because we had partnered
Who
with them.
chose them?
Well,
I didn't ask how. Who chose them?
Well, Councilman of District 4 participated in the selection of those members.
Well, let me clarify that, because if we go in directly, we can. Rasha and Tanya selected the list, and they asked me if I had anyone. I think the only person that I appointed I suggested Kyle Geimer on the list from there. But I think the resolution, if we're not mistaken, said which area, and I wish you guys would find a date, Mr. Attorney, when the resolution was. The resolution, I remember very distinctly say that the committee was made up of a representative from FIU, a staff. It outlined what was going to happen. It didn't have the name of the people, but yeah, it was something like that we. Yeah, it was a resolution that says, within the resolution, that says that we'll have a representative from FIU, a representative from the Beacon Council for the business, a resident, and a business owner. I didn't select anyone, just for the record, if that's where this is going. I did ask them, the resident, if they would ask Ms. Geimer, because she was on one of the committee for 7th Avenue, and that was that. And they did invite me to one meeting, I believe, correct? The first meeting, Tanya not here, the first meeting they invited me, I came, and that was the only meeting that I attended from the committee. So if that's the, to be on the record, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
No, I mean, it's only, anyway, that's fine. I mean, it's only appropriate that I made it clear that I was not aware of any committee member, and I don't know how they met, if they met. Was there any report from any of them? I don't know. And this is something that I'm voting on. I mean, this is something that we paid $175,000. I thought it was $75,000. Now I'm learning it's $175,000. I mean, so I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense to me. Doesn't. I can't hide it. I mean, because I'm elected to vote and to make policies. I was not involved in this policy making. That's all I can say.
Mr. Chairman, are you asking us to not approve this evening, or are you asking us to continue the item?
No, I'm not asking that. I'm just voicing my opinion about the way that this went. I mean, if we're talking about transparency, we're talking about moving along, and I'm not talking about the product itself. I'm not talking about the product. I'm just talking about we as a city, if we are moving in such a way that we take this city to a different direction, we have to be inclusive. Okay, that is the word that I was looking for. We have to be inclusive. This is the city of North Miami. There is no District 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a city. It's not until recently that we divide the city into districts and have District 1, District 2, 3, and 4. This is a city. If we have a major project like this, it's not a District 4 project. It's a project of the city of North Miami. So therefore, all the council members should have the same voice in anything that is being executed. That's as simple as that.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
No, what I was saying, it's the committee was put it together based on a resolution passed by mayor and council. At any time, we always can change that and bring a new resolution and change the composition of that board. That mean anybody can bring a resolution and change it.
I mean, not to belabor, I hear you, Mr. Mayor, loud and clear. Not to belabor the point, the committee was established via that resolution, and we'll find it, we'll get it, but for the purpose of giving feedback to this process. So it no longer, as of the approval of this item, it will no longer exist, that committee. So,
That's right.
okay.
Are we go for a vote?
I think we're waiting on a motion. I was going to see if
have-
Councilman DeSilva
I thought
might
you
want-
Yes,
I withdrew it for further discussion.
Yes, it did.
Oh,
I'm done.
okay.
Thank you, Thank you, Vice Mayor.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the item.
Second.
I have a motion made by Board Member Galvin to approve item number 1. That motion was seconded by Board Member Desormeaux. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. Item number 2.
Good evening. TD Wings. There's no resolution? What's the grant, the title? It's a grant, okay. Please find in your packets a business attraction grant request from TDH Wings doing business as Wingstop. The property in question is 927-929 Northeast 125th Street. This location formerly housed the Grateful Bread, a small bakery that was in operation since 2010 until the owner's passing.
What? The guy or the lady?
This is a new business opportunity for our downtown. Mrs. Howell will bring new life to the corridor and new clientele. She has owned and operated several Wingstops, and I'm very happy because Councilman Desormeaux is always asking. She will be seeking to hire 25 employees, 15 full-time and 10 part-time, primarily North Miami residents.
Hey.
The total cost estimated at $369,780. She's requesting part of the business attraction grant, $150,000. The CRA staff recommends approval. Mrs. Howell is here if you have any questions for her. And also I wanted to mention that there's several articles in the package showing her achievements, what she's done. She's also done other programs through her businesses in Miami Gardens. She's worked with former felons and provided activities and programs, and she also has programs with youth that she does. She always ties into her business. So we welcome a Wingstop to our downtown, and we hope it's part of the revitalization of our corridor. Any questions?
I didn't see the menu.
Well, there's lemon pepper on it.
And the recipes. Okay, do we have anyone from the audience who wants to be heard on the item? No? Maybe you want to say something, at least.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. I had an opportunity last week to give my spill for the project, and I know I submitted the budget, but the actual project cost is about $540,000. One of the things that the CRA grant would help me to be able to do is that portion of the money that I would be paying back in interest on loans, I'd now be able to utilize to pour back into the community. As Rasha said, I actually opened the first Wingstop in Dade County, Florida, moving back from Dallas, Texas. They didn't have Wingstop here. I don't know how many of you have had it, but I didn't think I could live without my lemon pepper wings coming home, growing up here. And so I actually had a vision and opened the restaurant, not knowing how difficult it might be. And I recently, about 5 years ago, opened up another wing stop in Miami Lakes, and I'm excited about the opportunity to open this one in North Miami. One of my passions is helping youth, and through the package you can see employing the unemployable, being able to take people in our community who maybe can't get a job because of their criminal record. And with me coming from a poverty-stricken neighborhood and being familiar with that type of background, I take the chance to hire them, mentor them, talk to them about pulling their pants up, cutting their hair, paying their child support, and so on, and hoping that when they leave my establishment, they will become more employable. So I'm just hoping to be able to pour into the community more than just providing a very good food option.
Thank you very much. And hopefully you will go public and become a franchise. So.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor?
No, now it's a chain.
It's a chain?
It's a chain, right?
It's a franchise, yes, already.
Oh, it's
so
a
I'm a franchisee.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Mayor? How many locations you have? I know you say one in Miami Lakes, and this will be your second one?
This will be the second,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
No, I'm sorry. I have one in Miami Gardens, one in
Okay.
Miami Lakes. This will be number 3.
Is that the one on 27th Avenue?
No.
Where in Miami Gardens?
On County Line and 441. That was the first
Okay.
one back in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Thank
So
you.
how much are you asking for today? Again?
$150,000, which
Oh,
is
half of
under,
the-
well, it's less than half, because it's.
Okay. Thank you. So we need a motion.
So move.
Second?
I have a motion made by Board Member Desume to approve item number 2. That motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0.
Let us know when the ribbon cutting is.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Next one.
Item number 3, a resolution of the chair and board member of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the agreement between the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency and BEA Architects, Inc., relating to professional services relating to Mocha Plaza improvements, authorizing the chairman and CRA executive director to execute the agreement, authorizing the CRA executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing an effective date.
Right. Good evening,
Evening.
Chairman, board members, Alberto Estrada, Purchasing Director, City of North Miami. The item that you have before you is simply staff's recommendation to seek your approval for ratification of a contract with the firm BEA Architects to design the Mocha Courtyards project. And this is the companion project to the Mocha Plaza project. It is a project that is well underway. This was approved during the recess by the executive director of the CRA, and staff is simply coming before you for you to approve, or to ratify rather, the approval of this contract to BEA Architects. If you have any questions or any further questions regarding the matter, I'll be glad to respond.
Anyone from the public wants to be heard? No? I guess not. Now that is to be, this is a job to be done before the end of the year, no?
Well, the contract provides for the duration is approximately 22 weeks, and this is for design. This is design
Oh,
of
this
the
was
courtyard
design.
project, right? Not to be confused with the Mocha Plaza project, all right? It is well underway. They're underway in design. This was initially approved earlier in August of this year, and so this simply is a ratification of that approval. So it's well underway. I suspect it'll probably be finished within the next, probably 8 to 10 weeks.
And we'll bring back, to add to that, we'll bring back the, you know, the construction portion of the design.
Talking about the plaza, I thought we were trying to get it done before Art
We
Basel.
were, based on the, you know, the design that you guys, equivalently approved,
Mhm.
we've been working with the design and the construction to try to get it done. It's going out to bid.
It's going out to bid, hopefully sometime this week, for the work to begin in the early part of January.
When would that last, that work? When would that work last? How long from?
Well, the actual construction
Mhm.
for the Mocha Plaza,
Yes, sir.
well, we haven't bid the project out yet, Mr.
No,
Flores.
because I asked because of music in the plaza, that's why. Okay, thank you. Let's keep that in mind, thank you.
All right.
So this is a resolution, this is a resolution authorizing services to prepare and draw the plans. Are the
To
plans gonna?
design the plan, to design it.
To design it. So
Yes.
is the design gonna come back to this board for us to approve the design?
Yes, yes, it will.
Okay,
Like we did with the plaza.
okay. And the resolution in here is wrong on my package.
Well, no, remember,
No, there's a resolution that's from July in my package, so
Oh.
make sure we have the right resolution.
oh, that's just the backup. Okay, I got you.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Now the BEA architects. Why we go there? That was the bid process, or?
They were already on, they were one of the architects that were on our existing list. We were already using another firm to do the larger plaza. So we just rotated to the next
All right.
group on the list.
We need a motion.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion made by Board Member Keys to approve item number 3. That motion was seconded by Board Member Galvin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0. Item number 4, a resolution of the chair and board member of the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency approving the recommendation of award of RFQ 58-16-17 for qualified architecture and planning, urban planning consultants for design services for a detailed train station area and major corridor master plan for the plan Northeast 125th, Northeast 123rd Street, FEC Passenger Rail Station, and surrounding corridors to IBI Group, Inc., approving the agreement between the North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency and IBI Group, INC, authorizing the chairman and CRA executive director to execute the agreement, authorizing the CRA executive director to take all action necessary to implement the terms of the agreement and providing an effective date.
What about the attorney? The attorney will not be involved? It says the director, but I didn't hear the attorney.
It's not mentioned.
Huh?
It's not mentioned in there. It's not mentioned.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I drafted the agreement, so that
Ah. We want to make sure you work, man.
I did, I worked. I drafted the agreement, and then it's time for the staff to implement it.
Okay.
All right, once again, Mr. Chairman, board members, the item that you have before you is the results of a solicitation, selection, and negotiation process. This is a project that was spearheaded by the Assistant Director of my department, Mr. Philip Ford, and I'd like for Mr. Ford to give you a little bit more information and background regarding, again, the selection negotiation of this contract.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman and board members. Phil Ford from the Purchasing Department for the city, Assistant Director. As Mr. Destrado mentioned, this process was a competitive request for qualifications that we solicited specifically for the train station and master corridor planning. The process included evaluation of a two-tier process. We received initially 6 responses, one of which was deemed non-responsive by the purchasing department. Subsequently, those responses that were responsive were forwarded to the evaluation committee. Their initial evaluation was based upon the 4 corners of the documents, the submittals. They ranked those respondents, and in accordance to the highest ranked, in accordance with a short list of qualified firms, moved to a second tier. The second tier allowed each respondent to present to the committee, whereas the committee took those oral presentations in addition to the written submittals and reevaluated and determined the highest ranked. Then subsequently we requested through the executive director approval to negotiate with the highest ranked firm, which was IBI Group. What you have before you tonight is the result of those negotiations. We have a plan of action for the firm that will include about 10 tasks they're going to do to develop this plan. That will include community outreach, different revisions of the plans, and subsequently come back to the CRA for final approval. The cost for the design services will be an amount not to exceed $160,271.
If you allow me, Mr. Chair, just want to add one more thing to the record. As you know, this is this selection of this master plan is moving the city forward with regards to our redevelopment of the TOD area right at the end of 125th Street, and our analysis of development of a tri-rail train station and develop, other retail and residential development in the area. So this is a critical item, and I ask for your full support.
Okay, quickly, before we come to the dais, we'll ask the public to please come and opine and give whatever concern they may have or questions about the item. I see no one coming to the mic, so public hearing is closed. We come to the dais now.
Mr. Mayor, just quick question. I'm in full support of the item. I just have a quick question. You mentioned they'll do outreach. Please make sure that the outreach is done properly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I think
I have a
if Councilwoman wants to yield to you, that's fine.
No,
No, go ahead.
no. My question is about the local preference based on what they'll qualify for the 10% local preference.
The firm included in their response to be considered for the local preference the subcontracting with a local contractor from the city. This particular solicitation was done prior to the recently amended ordinance regarding the local preference. The city council just amended local preference, whereas 2 of the 3 were required to be considered. This particular evaluation was done prior to that, where 1 of the 3 was considered for
Which
the
one was used?
subcontracting.
Subcontracting.
We actually have the IBI group here tonight. They can speak to.
No, I'm talking to you, not to the
Okay.
group. Okay. That's when they don't live
The-
in the city. They're just gonna
the
hire subcontractors.
the firm is not in the city, correct?
Okay.
I believe their local contractor was CEPCO contracting.
Okay, the local.
Yes.
The local one used.
Who's the local one?
For me.
CIPCO?
CEPCO,
It's an
CEEPCO.
firm?
Oh.
Mr. Charles?
And
And
Okay.
that's,
Ms. Roy.
that's the
Local
subcontract.
preference.
The
yes.
subcontractor.
Okay.
And they have to do about 10% of the work, if I'm not
No,
mistaken,
that's
right?
fine.
Got it.
10% of the value.
Yeah, and the community
This is
engagement
C
and the
triple E or double E?
double E.
Yeah.
P
He's a subcontractor.
Yes, sir.
Okay, from IBI.
Okay. That's fine. That's it.
Question. I apologize for not being more informed on this, but I'm 100% in favor of TOD and the train station. What I'm not sure is we're starting to spend money on a plan, and we don't know what property we have or where the train station's going to be. So why are we spending money before, number one, we absolutely have a commitment for the train station, and two, when we don't know where the train station's going to be?
Actually, this is a very good question. It's a question that makes a lot of sense, because at the level of the TPO, where I sit and we discuss about the tri-rail, and the question that I keep asking many times at the TPO is what we should be doing. Not just us, but not Miami Beach as well as Aventura. So we are the three main cities, that are going to be impacted by this tri-rail program. But the advice that they keep giving us, as a matter of fact, there's supposed to be not a commission, but they are encourage us to try to meet the three of us, not Miami Beach and Aventura, to see at the level of the councils, to see what is it that we have to do, because they advise that we start at least preparing the proposed, quote-unquote, proposed area. And I don't know if there is something else that I should have said. Maybe I cannot, maybe we really divulge it in public. Some of the proposed sites are probably not going to take place. And as you know, the program has been pushed back by a year or so, because all aboard, has been pushed back, and ours is really contingent. Not contingent, but it takes a second backseat to all aboard. So there's a lot of things going on, and these are questions that I have asked, and I'm glad that you had that question. But they do encourage us to start planning, though.
So we're supposed to go out and spend $150,000 when we are not sure if we're getting the station, and we don't know where it's going to be, because we don't particularly own any property.
Well,
Mayor?
we don't know where it's going to be, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, we know four corners that we'd like, but we don't own any of those four corners.
Well, let me, if you will allow me.
Yes, sir.
My response to that, Councilwoman, is the following. Like the mayor just astutely said, they have contacted me directly, the staff, and they have encouraged us to meet all the city managers and start doing planning just like this. It has always been, I guess, my assumption that 125th Street was, or in its immediate area, was going to be one of the major sites that were going to be under consideration. That's based on not only my discussion, various discussions I've had with you as individuals, but also my discussion with FEC, and I've met with them several times. And we've talked about 125th, we've talked about 151st, we've talked about 163rd, we've talked about the mall, somewhere around the mall. We've talked about a lot of sites. But again, the direction from the TPO staff and the county staff is go ahead and start your planning process. With regards to, trying to figure out what we can do, we're gonna do, just like you just approved a Chinatown master plan and plan design, we're gonna go out here and take a look at, the master planners. What is out there? What is around there? What is going on? And perhaps they may suggest to us change the zoning in the area. They may suggest no more storage facilities in the area. A lot of things may come out to I knew somebody would like that. But to help us figure out how we do preserve what we have. The city does own property already adjacent to the rail at 125th Street right now. And so
we do?
We have basically a right-of-way or vacated right-of-way property. No, but it is.
We don't own that.
Yes, we do. We do.
Then I want to see that on the map, because I got some issues.
Okay.
And
I don't think
our
the side,
staff-
no, not the side you're thinking of, where we've been having the issue, not that
Okay.
side, on the other side.
Okay.
The clean side. The clean side. And I actually have been, through the CRA, I have been talking to some of the property owners in the area. I've obtained a few appraisals, and I've been looking at properties in the immediate area on behalf of the city and CRA. Again, I'm not gonna make any decisions without your direct authority from the council or as a CRA board, but this is part of the planning process. And the other thing is, with this plan, it's also gonna encourage the other existing property owners to take another look at, well, if this train station is gonna be here, the gas station may say, you know what, let me come up with another use. I'm sorry, sir.
All right.
But you get my point.
Yeah.
Okay, so this contract is for 42,000, is this 42? No, this is 160. So is this something that we, not to exceed, so we don't have to spend 160, we can spend 10, 20 to get started and we pay as we go?
Well, yes, and I'm sure the trusty folks in procurement will beat these guys down.
If you was 10,000, that would
even
be
more.
no more than 50.
Mr. Charles will be Mr. Charles will be very easy on us, right? Because you want to come back as a vendor. Yeah, but this is, again, the Dade County actually encourages us to actually do that. And with that being said, it may not be a bad idea in the near future, because, remember I had the guy from South Florida Regional Transit Authority to come here and make a presentation. But now it might be time to get, actually we cannot even get the FEC guys to come because it's between FEC and Miami-Dade County. This is a tri-county in the program, so therefore we cannot even talk to the FEC people. And again, there's something else to be said about that, but I will refrain from saying any more. But I can talk to the manager, and from that we can move forward. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some of the same concerns that Councilman Keyes appears to have, that we'll spend this money and then the station never comes here. I've heard that Northeast 151st Street is under consideration, and this is all rumor and conjecture. That's why I'm asking this here, because it's the first time I've had to ask and get anything public. Do we know if 151st Street is under consideration? And here's the bigger question I have. I've been told that the developers of Solomia are working with FEC to bring the station there because they want it nearer to their development. Do we know whether or not our own tenants are working against the 123rd Street site?
I can say this because I meet with them often. They're not working against us. Myself, Mr. Tillman, and his staff, we've had very open, transparent conversations. He and I both separately met with the train folks. Yes, they are interested in having a site at a station at their site, and the discussions we've had are about distance between ours and their site. But more for us, and the argument that I make to the TPO members and everybody, it is more practical to have our station at our site because 125th is a conduit between I-95 and the beach. So you bring people to a center point, and now they can ride south, north.
I get your arguments in favor, Counselor. Do we know whether or not? The railway people, and I don't even know who the heck the railway people are. That's how muddled this whole thing is. Do we know whether they're going to put one at 123rd and 151st, or is it going to come down to one versus the other?
My conversation, they're interested in our location, and they have some interest in the 151st.
When are they going to get off the pot and just say where they're going to put these stations?
That I don't know. And I can tell you, I've had more than one conversation directly with their, with the representatives from FEC.
I've all along favored rail. My concern has been the first time they came to us, again, I don't know if anybody else is, well, probably Councilman Bieneme was on the council at that stage. But they were asking, the railway people were asking the city for $1 million a year per year to do this. And I voted against that, not because I don't favor rail, but because I was like, wait a second, this city doesn't have $1 million just sort of sitting around. So again, I don't want to spend money after a project that they are intending to take somewhere else, because I know they are not going to stop in Audrey Edmondson's district, and then right here on 123rd, and then 151st, and then they're going to stop at 167th. They're not going to stop that many times. Somebody's going to lose out, and I share the worry that it's going to be 123rd Street, so I'd hope they decide. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so sure. I mean, with that being said, just to, in closing, I don't know, maybe, they probably, when the time comes, they're probably going to pick whoever is ready. So,
Hopefully.
whoever is ready. So
Another
that's why we have
Whoever
to.
That's
can
another
make the
reason to
big
start our
investment.
plan.
Yeah, that's another reason for us to be on the forefront of it.
Can I ask just one quick question?
It's like a guy with three girlfriends. Whichever girlfriend is ready, that's when he's gonna marry.
Oh my God. I don't
You
even
know,
want to
I
ask
always
my-
come up with those.
More, please.
Hey, whichever one. If you don't do your hair every week and everything and look sexy, and hey, you lose out.
Oh God.
That was very bad. The women's group after you on that one.
I don't know if I should ask my question now. But no, I heard, and this is just me hearing stuff. I did hear, no, not that. I did hear 143rd might be under consideration, so they just talking, people just talking, right? Okay.
In all my conversations, I've not heard 143rd.
Well,
at all.
we have different sources now, you gotta
Okay,
keep in mind,
that's-
okay? I'm just saying, all right, thank you.
Let's say it would be good for us to have it.
Yes.
We're talking about a big hub of transportation and transit, walkability, connectivity, and this is a big thing. All right? We're going to go for a vote?
Yes.
I move. Move.
I have a motion made by Chairman Joseph to approve item number 4, and that motion was seconded by Board Member Bien-Aimé. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Item passes 5-0.
I guess that's it. We report, any report?
As Chief Page is walking up to the podium, I just wanted to quickly do the Iron Manners update. As you recall, this was one of the projects that was funded by the CRA. I just wanted to let you know that after the historic designation, we've been working with the County Historic Board. They are there, the city staff, Kent Walia, the County Historic Board will be doing a presentation at their homeowners association on the 21st at 7:30 at the Griffin Adult Center. So I'm letting everybody know if you're interested to attend. They're going to do a historical perspective of the fountain, and they're going to talk about potential designs and get input from the homeowners association.
Okay.
That was my
When is it
update.
again? You said what's
It's the 21st
21st.
Of,
November, next week at 7:30 at the Griffin Center.
how long a presentation?
What
2
day
hours.
is that?
No, I mean,
Mr.
we
Mayor, what
discussed
day-
today
that's the
doing
same day as the
a
barn is.
SBA workshop at that meeting, so
I could get back to you. It's being managed by Mr. Walia at CPND, and he's the one coordinating with the County Historic Board for their visit. So I can find out and let you know.
we need to coordinate that, because the Chamber of Commerce was going to do, in conjunction with the SBA, do an SBA workshop that evening, so
Okay,
we need to
Is it,
thank you.
figure that out.
Rasha, isn't that the same day as the bond?
Yeah, we have
A
an
bond meeting?
Schedule homeowner association meeting that
Oh,
they had
my
done.
goodness.
Okay. That's the second one?
Yeah.
That would be, okay.
However, this is their regularly scheduled meeting. I was not aware of.
Okay.
Chief Page?
Yes. Good evening. Real quick, every 3 months we give the quarterly report for the CRA off-duty details both in the center part of town and on the west side. And to start off with the west side officer, the west side from June 16th through September 30th made 418 business contacts, which they engaged business owners and workers in conversation relating to security and safety in the Northwest CRA area. In addition, they performed 737 business checks, 788 parking lot checks, answered 5 calls for service. Some highlights were that they were the first to arrive on a rollover traffic crash and provided medical aid. They made a bench warrant and traffic arrest, and they assisted in traffic direction and traffic enforcement in some of the plazas. We also like to summarize the crime, and if you have your packages, you'll see the crime that occurred in the northwest section. And there was actually a reduction. If you remember the second quarterly report that I had provided you, shoplifting was a major driver of the crime along the Northwest 7th Avenue corridor at 119th Street. That has been reduced now in both the third quarter and in the fourth quarter. And at a height, there was 15 shoplifting reports in the 3-month, and that number has been brought down. Overall, there was 20 Part 1 crimes reported on the Northwest corridor, which was down from 30 Part 1 crimes last year for the same 3-month period. So we have seen an effect, both qualitative and quantitatively, along the Northwest corridor on 119th Street and Northwest 7th Avenue. And we also provided you this time in your report some sample worksheets so you can see the different businesses, what businesses they go to, and what contacts were made by the business owners.
Right.
A very similar report for the downtown officers. In the same time frame, the downtown officers made contact with 649 business owners and actively engaged them in conversation. They checked 1,177 businesses, checked over 8,000 parking lots, answered 28 calls for service, and responded to City Hall 293 times to provide security services. They also made contact with over 1,000 visitors to the downtown area. And some of the highlights were Jazz and Mocha and other Mocha events such as business openings. They attended the reopening of the Alaska Coffee House. They made an arrest for a drunk driver on 125th Street and Northeast 7th Avenue, responded to several traffic crashes to expedite the clearing of the roadway, and answered 28 calls for service in the downtown area. There's also a summary for the crime. In the downtown area, all the crime were crimes of opportunity such as thefts, pickpocketing, and a stolen vehicle. The crimes are also down in the center from 9 to 4, they were 14 last reporting period. So you can see both in the center and in the west, there's both a qualitative and quantitative showing for the officers' work, and their worksheets were also attached to your package if you have any questions or concerns to what businesses they were contacting. I know Rasha also presented to the advisory board the North Miami Connect program, which we've spoken about in the past, is in its final leg and will be implemented very shortly. That's where businesses will be able to tie in their security cameras to the police department, and we'll be able to establish a virtual patrol and actually see real time what is going on in the areas of the city prior to actually making arrival to the calls for service.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other report? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, thank you very much. We will reconvene in 30 minutes at 7 p.m. for our regularly scheduled council meeting here in the city of North Miami.